Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to the Gloves Off podcast. The only podcast where if you wait 2 lines in that or 2 hours in line, you get a free pin at the end of it. I am one of your many hosts, Master Hand Games Koopa, and joined as always by the Penny Arcade to my expo, which is one of the many topics we're going to be talking about today. Mr. Chris CX, how are you, sir?
I haven't been to like good Penny Arcade in I don't remember how many years, but I'm doing pretty well, man. How are you?
I'm doing good, and as you can see, we were potentially waiting the arrival of Mr. Hazardous Matthew at some point. He is a busy man, so and also a sleepy man.
I
So,
say he's
uh,
sleeping. Who are you kidding?
yeah, grown boys need to rest, and he was also having probably one of the crazier schedules, kind of like myself, the last couple of days. So I am shot to know.
Are you trying to tell
And
me you guys have full-time jobs when I'm over here thinking you guys got yachts you haven't invited me on and flying all over the world to talk about all these Smash Brothers and I'm just confused now.
you know what, man? I'm sorry, my yacht's in the shop.
It's
Yeah,
in the
tune
shop.
into my MTV Cribs episode where you get to see the jacuzzi that also has six Maseratis in it. So
Oh man, yeah, I'll definitely tune into that one.
yeah, but so we're gonna have a smorgasbord of stuff to talk about with you guys a bit today. We did not have a podcast last week because between the three of us collectively, we had like 8 hours of sleep because we all went to Frostbite.
Yeah, that was
So
crazy, wasn't it? That was like
yeah, it
a
was.
that was a big blur.
Yeah, I remember it like it was last week, which is exactly what it was.
It was last week. It feels like another time. If I'm being honest, it feels like yeah, it's like another lifetime ago was Frostbite. But it's crazy because it was probably the biggest, or I think it was the biggest tournament to date. Honestly, as far as the top end of attendance goes, and even just overall, I think it was like still 1,600 people total. And this was just Smash and Rivals, but Rivals isn't bringing in a big crowd, so it was basically all Smash, and some people played Rivals. But
Yeah, like Rivals definitely has its niches, but the game is still in a growing state, and we advertise the crap out of it. So
it's coming to
once that
Switch
game reaches,
soon.
yeah, once it reaches a Switch, I think those numbers are gonna like explode.
Oh yeah, big
I was
time.
talking to one of my friends about it this weekend, Brosalina, who is
Mhm.
who's big in the Rivals community. And he said it's like yeah, like Genesis I think was like the biggest tournament for Rivals, and I think that those their numbers capped at like 200 and something. So like I just imagine those numbers are just gonna like exfoliate and explode.
Wait, wow, really?
Yeah, like even as big as Rivals gets, it doesn't like break like the super big numbers.
Yeah, I gotta tell you, it is a really cool game. One that I was very made very well aware of was coming out to the Switch during Frostbite. I want to talk about the ads a little bit. We don't have to do it right now, which is funny because I still learned about it, and it is coming in the summer, and it is going to be a big deal because the fact that it's on the Switch and there's already Smash tournaments that happen locally with the Switch, and all you have to do is just change the game. Like this game is good, and like its attention is about to like skyrocket. So it's interesting to see it right now before a lot of people really know about it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah, and we also ran a Rivals tournament at one point
Yeah, we ran a
through
couple.
MHG,
Hmm.
which was fun, and the reception was there. And they even say themselves they don't have a lot of like local events, so like I just imagine that things are going to become much more easier because the problems with Rivals obviously is accessibility. Like you need to have computers in order to play it, which not everybody has as accessible as they would like you said Nintendo Switch, which come in bountiful uh loads. So yeah, that was a whole lot of fun, and Frostbite was cool. We can touch briefly on that because that is kind of old
Was
news.
was that a
uh
pun?
ha ha ha.
Hmm.
uh it's kind of
I'm sorry
Frostbite.
for all of us.
Yeah, but we did our work. You sat in the chair for what feels like a week, and
Dude, that was a
I
50-hour like week for me between the streams, if I can, since you set me up like that. It's cool because like it's definitely a record for me. It was 15 hours of stream time, like literally me just stream time on Friday. It was 16 on Saturday and 14 on Sunday. I saw it so much. like Smash Brothers, like for a long, yeah, it was something.
It's definitely one of those things where it's like, um, you don't like when you feel how you feel afterwards. It's like, man, like my body feels like I just got hit by a truck. Like this is not the state of mind and body that I wish to be in. But it's also like you want to prove you're crazy enough to do it, and yeah, you definitely paid through in spades. As the mainstream was absolutely a treat to watch. As someone that was both in attendance and watched some of the vods from my phone in my hotel room while I was
Yay.
there. So
Yeah, it felt pretty good, man. I feel like it looked really good all around, and there was just so many things going on. Like towards the end, and the crazy part is like the crowd was like legitimately hype the entire time, and through the end, which on Sunday night, you have like a crowd popping off, and it's interesting. There was just so much good footage and everything. Look at that room; it's blue. Like the room was blue. Stage looked nice. Like I don't know, just it was really pretty fun from like a putting it together standpoint.
Oh yeah, for sure. Just like watching everything get put together was really cool, and like you said, that top eight crowd was popping, and I feel like it was a very conflicted crowd because they're cheering for the likes of Rob and Pac Man, so I feel like Stockholm syndrome definitely played a factor into people's enjoyments. A lot of conflicted individuals.
Yeah, speaking of which, let's cut to the chase. What'd you think about the ending? I mean, obviously, number one player in the world comes out on top of like the biggest tournament, but not before going the losers bracket a little earlier on in upset fashion, and it was a whirlwind because we got like several sets that played like they were grand final sets with MKLeo. You know what I mean? Going game five with like a number of different people and really putting on a show, I guess, to put it
No, for
bluntly.
sure. Yeah, for sure. That's a great point. Because I could have probably looked at any of those vods and been like, oh yeah, this is definitely grand finals. I'm just like, oh wait, you mean it's not?
Yeah, dude.
Like
It
that's
was like what was it? Nairo almost beat him. T almost beat MKLeo. Like there
Zachary
was
almost beat him.
Zach Ray.
So
Like that set was crazy, dude. And then the fact like I feel like I was explaining a lot of this to my mom after the fact, and I was showing her the tournament like I was doing all this and this was going on. So I showed her the VOD. Let me find it real quick. And it was basically after MKLeo, who never pops off, mini pop off against Zachary because it was literally last hit, game five. And she sees, I'm explaining, like, this guy's number one player in the world. Meanwhile, this kid's only 15, whatever. And then, like, I'm explaining to her, and then she just sees the end and just sees him sitting there sad. And then she's like, oh my God, you could see his body language. Like, you could tell he feels bad that he beat him. And I was just like, yeah, you totally can. So it's like it does translate. I'm starting to just realize that like there's a viewing audience that just has no idea about this stuff yet, and this tournament did hit 100K viewers. Like it's there's just so much going on is what I'm getting
yeah,
at, and now I feel like it's finally starting to like with a stream like this, there's actually like storyline that's like you can follow easy enough.
yeah, I agree. The level of intensity from when Leo dropped in the losers, to Prodigy, and then proceeded to steamroll through everybody in losers was absolutely incredible. And if Nairo's SmashCon run didn't exist, I would say this is one of the best losers runs of all
Yeah,
time.
that's a good
But
call.
because my argument that I give to people is that Nairo had to beat the number one player in the world twice, and it's the number one player in the world having to beat everybody. So, and and Leo's no stranger to this. He's definitely dropped into losers before, but
Yeah,
not
I
at
found it.
not from 32nd place. You know what I mean?
Yeah, so it's that's the type of stuff that like you tune in. I don't think this tournament would have ever hit 100,000 views like live viewers if MKLeo didn't continuously make upset after upset. Like if he lost to like even if he lost to like Tweak in top 8, you know what I mean, which almost happened. Like it just wouldn't have been. It's so strange, dude. And it's like you think about things like plot armor and like it's like how does this stuff happen like this? Like you can't even script it. But this is what's going on. Like in this whole sector of competitive stuff.
Yeah, believe whoever's writing the script deserves a raise.
All I want to say, speaking of writing the script, shout outs to Zach Ray for the 4MHG tag. Like I'm not saying I told him anything because I don't know Zachary at all, but like, hey man, I believe in synchronicities. That's all I'm saying.
You know what? I had like multiple people like because they know that or I'm in cahoots with you obviously, and they're just like, "Do you know why he's doing this?" And I'm like, "Absolutely
He
not."
just thinks
But you
it's
know what?
so cool. Mastering gaming is the best.
Yeah, I'll make sure to save Zachary a spot, a slice of Domino's pizza as well as some Chinese food
Y-
from the this place across the parking lot at the next PSS.
Perfect. Yeah, get him some of that General So's. It's not bad.
Yeah, shout out to the Asian fusion place. That
Yeah.
place is godlike.
So yeah, dude, this tournament literally had everything you could want. And it was a long weekend. The one thing that like I guess even the side events were pretty cool. I'm particularly interested in the side event that was the items, basically it was an Alpharad casual items bracket. And
Yes, that's a lot of fun for
dude, that
sure.
was fun, and he was pushing like he wants that to be like a real thing, like outside of just Frostbite to go on, and this is kind of breaking. I could say here because I don't think it's gonna like break out, but like that is pretty much confirmed for Collision. Like he's pretty serious. Like I think we're gonna have like an items bracket there with him there, so that'll be kind of cool.
Ooh,
Yeah,
T. Yeah, it was a lot of fun, man, and I love to see those like variety side events because obviously stuff like Squad Strike is fun, but I had a rooting interest in Squad Strike because it was won by New England's very own Chef Pack, aka Lade Fitness,
yeah, dude, Chef
aka
Pack.
yeah, and like I definitely always have a rooting interest in Squad Strike just because I like watching it, but there's a lot of top player power missing from the Squad Strike because they actually weren't allowed to enter if you enter teams. I think you can only enter like 2 events or something.
Yeah, and the
Um,
thing like I gotta tell you, I think that's a good rule. Uh, because like Squad Strike has a tendency to run pretty long, and teams is teams, so it's like you have double the amount of people that need to be somewhere.
I
So
agree.
it's a lot.
Yeah, so you saw a top eight that consisted of players like, Mewtwo King, Epic Gabriel, Ikata, the artist formerly known as Nova Pixel, from Georgia, and then the artist formerly known as Kool Aid, or Lade, coming out on top with the pit of all characters. So that was definitely a treat to behold. But the side events were great. I'd say the only complaint that I had was obviously the same ones that a lot of the other people had, is that the smell of gamer was very
Yeah.
prominent.
So this is like a growing issue that I just don't. I don't want to say it's a growing issue. I think this is the same as it's always been. In terms of people that go to these events and are binging games and whatever. But like I think it's more so just needs to be addressed now more than ever now that the events are getting more popular is what I'm trying to get at. Because it was kind of bad. I didn't really realize it was bad because I was just in the room the whole day. But like,
Sure.
yeah, it's pretty noticeable. It is pretty noticeable when you walk out of the room and walk back in that it just stinks. Quite honestly,
Yeah,
it's like it's kind of bad.
yeah, like here's the thing. I hate harping on the Smasher Stink meme because it's obviously been beaten to death, and in my personal experience, I have a very uh like low. I don't have like a great sense of smell for body odor. Like it's just one of those things that like my sensory system just doesn't pick up very much on. So if you stink, you have to like really fucking smell for me to notice it. And like I'd walk into the room multiple times and I'd just be like, ugh,
The thing, it felt
Christ.
like almost like a fog. And part of the
Yeah.
thing is though, and this, so the way Frostbite was set up is there was a lot of rooms for events. They had a whole several in the hotel, like even on different floors. So there was like room for people to spread out and do things, but like that main room with the amount of people there, it did just fill up kind of quick. So even if it wasn't, just smelly gamer, haha meme, it's still just like that's a lot of people crammed in there.
Yeah, especially without like circulating air or something like that. So like because I know at one point Face have tried like turning the heat down to kind of like fight the smell, and
Yeah.
immediately people complain about it being too cold. So it's one of those things where like you can't really win. You just have to hope that the people that like that the community at your large just like honestly just starts to take care of themselves more because like like I was literally talking to the guy that I saw during top 8 that was like straight up just not wearing shoes in the venue.
Oof.
Don't do that.
Yeah,
Like
that's
if by any chance you end up watching this in the future, like do not do that.
person
That
without
is
shoes. We're not mad at you, but like just you gotta think about it.
yeah, like start holding your friends accountable, man. Like if your friends like don't take showers or like don't like take care of themselves when they're like traveling to other places, and like you have to like yeah, I mean you might end up being kind of an asshole about it, but like if that's what it takes to get someone to like cleanse themselves and save us all the heartache of of having our nostrils burnt out, then like please just do that. But I know for a fact that the Frostbite Twitter immediately acknowledge the two biggest things they need to change for next year, which is a bigger venue and better control over the smell and stuff.
It's crazy to
So
think
they already
about
said,
bigger venue, isn't it? Like because but it is like in a case like this with what we're talking about, it's that's like the real thing that you kind of need because of that.
yeah, yeah, no, for sure. And they said that they were locked into this location for 2020 and for 2021 that they will be seeking out a bigger venue. So I have the utmost faith in the in the staff. Again, as someone that commentated the event and has attended Frostbite multiple times, the people that are in charge couldn't be any better.
Yeah, they're
Ori and
it's
Vaseth.
it's all good people, man. It was that was the one thing that was for sure. Yeah,
Yeah, the event was fun. MKLeo won again using Byleth, much to Gimmer's much to Gimmer's
for
what's
literally
the word I'm looking
what
for?
was it, game 6 of a 6-0. And he puts it on the thumbnail. I don't blame him though, man. Get that money, dude. That YouTube bag is like it's real, dude. So I can't even blame him. I actually love Gimmer. It's funny to think about. Like, bro, you put Byleth versus I think he left Game and Watch, but I think
Yeah.
didn't Meister use Pichu for like a game or something?
He did use Pichu for a game and he still lost that game, so
Yeah.
I just thought it was funny. Like Gimmer jumped up and down like a kid that like
Oh,
just got a pup. Like he got a puppy for Christmas and then said the puppy was keys to a Ferrari.
Yeah, speaking of
Like
Alpharad, he had a really good picture of that. I'm gonna find it really fast. Basically, Gimmer just like really happy sitting there when he saw the Byleth pop up on the character select screen.
yeah, we love that. Yeah, MK Leo once again riding the ship from his second place finish at Genesis. So good for him and obviously beating Meister, Tweak, and everybody in the
Here we
process.
go.
Because
Sorry, I couldn't.
what
Dude,
a face, man! That's
dude,
so
he's so
funny.
stoked. That's hysterical. Anyways, I'm gonna find the top 8 graphics since you're talking about it now.
It's so
Since
funny.
since,
Oh
since
my
we're gonna
god.
talk about the tournament, and the results,
Might as well.
Is this it? No, this is not it. I thought it'd be on the PG stats page. I'll find it. Anyways, I cut you off.
No, I was just gonna say, like, I was just gonna go down a rundown of the top 8. And so the thing that stands out to me is that obviously MKLeo went game 5 with a lot of these players.
Yeah.
T and Zachary as well as Tweak. Also I saw a stat online that like I think like the last like 10 sets that MKLeo and Tweak have played, 5 of them have been reverse 3-0s. So
that man, it makes me kind of sad to think about mostly like for Tweak because I think that's something that really eats away mentally because that's happened to him now several times where it looks very promising and he just get reverse 3-0'd and this is the thing. This is what everyone always talks about, man. What's it? Game? Well, I think it's game 4, Leo, but still, whatever it is,
yeah.
it's crazy.
Yeah.
Or he's just down on last stock and then just ends up beating you.
Yeah, whatever it is he's doing, man, it's working, and I feel for Tweak, but he has the right support system of people that are going to help him work through that. That's why you have coaches and the plethora of people that a TSM has to work with. And oh yeah, by the way, something that we like completely kind of skimmed over, but this is MK Leo's first tournament as a free agent in like years.
Yeah, and last at the moment because he got
Yeah.
picked up as soon as like the next like couple days got picked up by T1, which is a great fit for him because they only have Anti now, and Anti is just a totally different entity than like a best player in the world. You know what I mean?
Yeah, Anti is definitely like the like Anti is obviously still like a top level threat. He does not have that same like
Yeah, nothing like that. It's literally different. Like MKLeo is like the
yeah.
uncontested best player in the world right now.
Anti is definitely like transitioned more into the role of like content creator, so, like a very good at Smash.
Dude, he's a
Then
personality. He was at Smash tournaments. People love him. Like, and that's the thing. It has nothing to do with him. He's like just a totally different like pickup for them,
sure,
or
yeah,
personality or player, however you want to say it. But yeah, this, ESPN esports news, by the way.
yeah, yeah. Admittedly, like a little surprised that it's T1, because we were kind of like going through it, you know, or at least the people I was talking to were like, listen, if Leo's leaving Echo Fox, then like he has to have something crazy like lined up. So like I was thinking about all like the tier 1 teams that don't have ultimate players right now,
So
and the one that came to mind to me personally was C9. I don't know how you felt about that.
I'm curious. So did Echo Fox basically like dissolve? Did I mishear that? I'm gonna just look up.
I think Echo Fox did dissolve.
So I'm guessing one of two things probably happened. Either the thing you just said, where he kind of had this lined up already, and whatever shit hits the fan, and you end up taking this better deal, or the team dissolved and T1 said immediately like, "Oh, this would be great for our brand. Let's get the best player in the world," and probably hit him up immediately. Because before all that, I saw MKLeo started. I forget what it was. It was some kind of like MK. I'll just check. I'll just check Twitter, of course. He
Yes, because
started like
the
his own
MK is
thing.
yeah, the MK
MK
in his name
Gaming.
stands for Monster Kingdom Gaming,
I thought it was Michael
which is
Kim. That's still my favorite meme.
shout out to Riddles. Yeah, it's like a game shop that his brother owns in Mexico, and he was also part of Smash Factor, I think, for a while, um, which is the Mexican regional series. So I think he was in cahoots with them. And then what came after that? I think it was almost immediately. I think he got picked up by Echo Fox, and then MVG kind of came as a side product of that.
Mm-hmm. That's right. I forgot about that already.
Yeah, so like MK Leo spent the better part of like since he started competing in the states consistently as like a sponsored player, and to see him be unsponsored just for this one time, a little weird. But I knew it wouldn't have last long. I wasn't expecting T1 to be the ones to swoop in and grab him, but if you look at the people that are like running the show over there, like I can't say I'm surprised because I think Faker, the League of Legend Pro, is someone that has like high stock
Mm-hmm.
or like involvement with that organization. So
Yeah, it was a good pickup regardless. I mean, it's never not a good pickup when you have the best player in the world. That's something. But the thing so MKLeo apparently is co-owner of something called MK Gaming, where it just looks like a regular this startup Smash org. But the difference is MKLeo is involved in trying to grow the Mexican Smash scene and help new talents. So that's kind of neat. I'm guessing that's probably a side project in addition to the T1. Joining T1. So it's good for him, man. Getting involved and getting better deals. He definitely deserves it, dude. The kind of player he is, and even this kind of person he is. He's just seemed very humbled and just yeah. MK Leo, that could be a whole episode in itself too, man. There's a reason he's so popular and people love him. Like he's
yeah,
yeah.
yeah. Like the thing about Leo is that what's it called? Is that like not only is Leo like a top player at his craft, he's also just a top tier person. Like he's very humble, very down to earth. Um, like I heard someone say this, but like Zero, as good as a player as he wasn't exactly the most like humble of top players either. Like you definitely, kind of show it in your face when he beats you. So like, and obviously to each their own. Like that's just everybody kind of goes
Yeah.
about their competitive energy a little bit differently. But Leo is always so gracious and humble, whether in defeat or victory, and like he's always been a good sport, and I don't think we could have got asked for like a better like top level representative like for our scene, and yeah, I'm excited to see how things go forward for him with T1. So
Yeah, it was a kind of interesting end too, because when he did win, basically, I have the clip right here. So basically, what happened is everyone cheers Meister for making as far as he did, and then Leo's just kind of standing there awkwardly as the person who won the tournament, mind you, Like not very, it's such a strange scene to see. But Dark Wizzy kind of came out. This isn't the full clip. So Dark Wizzy basically came in and was just like, yeah, this guy just won the tournament. Like, clap it up, and everyone did, and that was nice. But it's just so interesting to how that all works. But here's the official Nintendo Versus tweet. I just want to show that off because that's pretty cool that exists.
Yeah, no, Nintendo Versus continuing to grace themselves in the Smash scene. As I think Frostbite was also sponsored by
Yeah.
Nintendo.
We haven't even
So
talked about that. This was a Nintendo sponsored event, and I said I wanted to talk about ads and stuff, and because it was that was also kind of a big meme all weekend, where it was just like the amount of ads. And I'm not gonna lie to you, as someone who had to play the ads, it was a little painful at times. There was a lot of ads, but when you start
yeah, a
seeing
lot
people
of.
like
I
I'm
was
just
gonna
all
say
I
a
was
lot
gonna
of top players.
yeah, well, yeah,
I'm
the
sorry.
top
Go ahead.
players were pissed. Well, the thing is, because the players have to hold up at that point. You know what I mean? Like matches get held up because you got to run ads, but the reality is you look at any sort of form of entertainment, like this is how it goes, man. In between games, everything, like they have to meet basically responsibilities to get sponsors. Because if you had watched a stream in its entirety, there were several Nintendo ads throughout. So it's actually super interesting. So Nintendo involvement comes with a lot outside of just advertisements. Like even some of the in-game music, I was pretty good about it. Subtle, like certain victory fairs need to be muted just so Nintendo doesn't get sued if they don't technically own the rights to whatever music. For
Really?
example, like Cloud, like if Cloud wins, like I had to mute the music immediately because it's a liability. And Nintendo takes the whole recorded stream, so if like they're taking it and they're using it for whatever Nintendo would use this for, then apparently that's like something he gets sued for. So it's just you don't really realize these things on the back end, but even the advertising includes in that. So to become a sponsor, like you have to guarantee X amount of advertising time per hour. You know what I mean? So that means their ads have to be on the screen at least, a couple minutes every 60 minutes. And then with that, you get the paying sponsors to, that are just basically paying broadcasting company or whoever the tournament just to get their stuff in there. And that ad space costs money, so then you have to promise those people that their ads are going to be seen. And as much as it sucks to sit through, you just realize how like you kind of need it. Otherwise, it's like expensive. I didn't realize how expensive it is to get equipment out there, but like they travel with a lot of stuff. So it's like a necessary evil. So that's my little
Yeah.
rant about it.
No, yeah, of course. There's bills that need to be paid. Like I have someone that watches a lot of basketball. Like it's there's TV timeouts, there's official timeouts, there's like team timeouts, there's timeouts that you can buy at the concession stand probably.
Mm-hmm.
So like
Probably.
there's just there's layers to it, and it sucks for the player side of things, but bills got to get paid, and regardless, I don't think it was that huge of a factor. Um,
It's tricky, so I don't know. From me, one last note I'll say is like if you're watching, you do have an option. Like I know there's like the ads that you play physically slides of the people who like pay to have their stuff there. And like even like Nintendo stuff that you can skip because there were the actual ads that play, and that's more of a VG Bootcamp thing. But I won't throw them under the rug
sure,
because like yeah, they do have to pay bills. But
yeah.
like if you're someone watching a tournament and it's just for a weekend, like I don't know, maybe pay-per-view isn't as big as it used to be. But like it's definitely a thing, you know what I mean, where you pay like however much money to watch like a fight, like a very special occasion fight. And I think about that with like Twitch subscriptions and tournament streams because tournament streams don't fit the archetype of Twitch. Like Twitch is made to be personable. Like if you're a streamer, you interact with your audience and
Exactly.
they hook it up with subscriptions and they, all these other things. That doesn't happen during tournaments as much. And it's really difficult because there's just so much behind the scenes of just making a broadcast look like a sports broadcast. So it gets lost. So I say to people like, well, if you're going to be sitting here watching a tournament the whole weekend and you want uninterrupted, like just subscribe or just be a normal person, just get ad block and just be done with it. So like I'm not supposed to say that, but I will because it's real. So it's just like I understand there are some ads that you can't skip, but those actually weren't that big of a deal if you ask me because that's just time that the tournament had to like get to the next phase anyway. So you just be sitting there looking at a nothing stream. So it's just
Yeah,
it's hard to explain this to people, but it's
yeah, no, I would argue that you're even getting more of your with like paying for a Smash subscription for the weekend
It's five
you know,
bucks.
yeah, than you are for paying for $80 for pay per view.
Yes, that's the
Because
thing.
that
Is
pay
like
per view fight,
think about the
that fight
scale
could
of
be
that.
over like in 10 seconds.
Yeah,
Yeah, exactly.
because that could be the future. So it's like you have to realize it now that this is sort of how the formula works. So the more you play into it, the more it stays like this versus having to pay like $80. It's, I don't know, man. The future of entertainment and consuming media and having that media pay for things like that is also its own episode. But I just wanted to touch on that because it came up a lot, and understandably so. It was a lot of advertisements. It's a lot of
Yeah, no,
advertisements.
the media game is constantly changing. I now measure how long my trips are in podcast episodes. So,
You gotta.
um,
We're gonna add
yeah, it's
advertisements to
like
this podcast.
yeah, that is a thing that's gonna happen. So
but
stay
but
tuned
but it'll
for.
be ones that you guys enjoy because we do have a nice little at this point, nice little intimate uh, listener base. So we don't want to bludgeon you, but we do want to keep you in the loop of things that we like to talk about because then it's just easier. So that way you hear us today, and then next week you'll already know the things that were going on and what to expect. So there's a little bit more
Especially
structure
because it's
there.
gonna get busy the next couple of months.
Yeah,
So
especially with the Smash World Tour, and maybe this is a good time to transition into that.
yeah,
Things are just going to
so
get busy in general.
yeah, so VG Bootcamp announced this Sunday that they tweeted out earlier in the day. It's like, oh hey, tune in, or I think it was on Saturday. Like, oh hey, tune in at 5 o'clock on Sunday. We got a big announcement, and they're like, if you guys want to restream it, we highly recommend you guys do so. Like,
Yeah.
it's gonna be that big, and in which they announced the Smash World Circuit. So Chris, I know you just freshly watched the video, so why don't you give us a rundown on what the circus is going to entail?
Sure, and good timing because I do have the video announcement on the screen. So essentially, they were going to have a big circuit that they're putting on for both Melee and Ultimate. And I know right now there are approximately 76 events included, but there are some opt-in ones, and each event has a tier to it. So there's like a platinum tier, a gold tier, then there's silver, which are the opt-ins, as far as I know. And the placings count for a certain amount of points, which I think is a very good, straightforward way to go about it. And based off the points leads to a final event to where, there's $250,000, $250,000, $1,000 in prize money. So it's the first real significant swing of money, especially something that pieces together several events. And this is, something that people wanted to see out of Nintendo, but your boys at VG Bootcamp sort of came in and said, we're doing a lot of these events already. Why don't we just put a structure to it? And I don't know if it's perfect or not. I haven't looked at the full details, but on the screen now you're seeing they're kind of weighing out what each event would be worth point wise, and based off of the what scale it is, platinum, gold, etc., and how many points that yields for the placings. So I think it's as simple as just however many points you have at the end gets you an invite to the final event to where you win actual big money. So it's pretty interesting. I think it's getting a mostly good reception from people because they're like, wow, there's some real money in here, and now there's incentive to travel, yada yada, because the events are everywhere. It's the U.S., it's in Mexico, it's in the U.K., France, I saw everywhere. So Japan, obviously, I saw. I think the Umabura monthly, which I gotta see. Maybe like Platinum Star, he could be like opt in for B, which is possible. But yeah, it's
It's possible
it is.
if we play our card. Yeah, and yeah, there's just a lot to definitely chew on here because we've never seen something like this before.
Not
Like
like
even when
this.
yeah, not at this scale with this much money involved, as you can see by everything being broken down. And we highly recommend you guys, check. Well, we could probably put the YouTube video link in our
Oh yeah, we could
description when we
totally do
upload
that.
this.
Yeah, because it's good for you
Yeah,
guys to
just
check out because they go into detail about all of the tournaments that they're basically their premier tournaments that they're mostly involved with production wise, as far as I know, and some that they aren't even. Like I think they even advertise Gommel, which is not something VG Bootcamp streams, but they basically kind of go around saying some of the, I guess, what would be considered the platinum events. The platinum and gold ones are the ones that they picked. Pending it's
yeah,
okay with the organizers, obviously.
yeah. Now, not every tournament organizer you're not required to obviously opt in.
Right.
It's on your choice because there's obviously big tournaments like Genesis and Shine that have not and various 2GG associated events that have just chosen to kind of do their own thing, which is fine. I think that offers it gives players a choice of what they want to go to. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah, I mean,
if
in this
if you don't need
case,
if you don't
follow
yeah
money, but
yeah exactly. There's
that's
obviously bigger money
yeah,
involved, but like it's one of those things where it's like if you're torn between one or the other, it's at least nice to have like some semblance of variety. Even though there's not going to be many weekends where multiple majors are going to be scheduled on the top of each other anyway, unless they're like international things.
yeah,
But yeah, like even when 2GG decided to do the circuit, 3 or so years ago, my God, it's been that long since they did that. It was never on the scale as it was here. We're talking, like you said, 76 tournaments across, like 5 or 6 countries. The full map is there, and even announcing some the return and the continuation of some series new and old. We saw the announcement of the next glitch happening in September,
hmm
called Glitch Infinite. Curious what that's going to entail. We also saw the next iteration of the Royal Flush series and Double Down happening
yep,
this time in Las Vegas instead of New Jersey, and the return of one of the most storied tournaments in Smash with the Apex series happening
yeah, that's the big
in New
one.
Jersey. And we're not gonna dive too much into like the super specifics of this, especially regarding Apex. I think we're actually gonna do a whole podcast on that just to kind of explain,
Yeah,
the new game.
definitely gonna happen. That's a good call.
Because there's definitely a fair amount of backlash, when Apex was announced that it was coming back, for reasons that we will get into when we get to that, because I do believe it is important to talk about, because it is unfortunately part of the legacy or the history that comes with Apex. So
That's true.
it's something that must be talked about. But we'll probably do a whole episode on that. But yeah, I agree. This is huge for the Smash scene, man. Like we've when you don't have the developer support, it's really hard to kind of garner the sort of the stuff. But VG's been at it for a long time. Gimmer and Apostle are very in tune to what the scene wants and what the scene needs, and we'll see how this all gets cracking, because with CEO Dreamland, it's going to be, I believe, the first event of the
hmm
Smash World Circuit. So definitely start brushing up on your points if you're a commentator. That's all I
Yeah,
gotta say.
yeah, it's this is a big one, and I think people aren't really even gonna realize it as much until the events start rolling out and they start seeing like who are the leaders on the world tour and stuff. Because there is a whole website to this thing, SmashWorldTour.com, which I think is good to know about, just because it has all the info you want. So like, there's a whole list of events and stuff, and they'll have standings as soon as that stuff's available with the help of Smash GG, which is gonna obviously track all the things. God willing, it works properly. Who said that? Not me. But yeah. So officially a thing now. And I think it's something to be excited about because something cohesive, and that's all like I want is just a little cohesiveness in the scene where the events sort of work together, and the scenes all get a little bit of highlight along one big story essentially. So it's good, good thing.
No, for sure. I'm super excited to see how it all unfolds, and it will all trickle down into a championship in December. So we'll see how that all shakes out. Like we said, we will be having, we could probably use a podcast episode here and there to kind of showcase the various tournaments coming up. Like we said, we will do that with Apex
Sure,
just
yeah.
because there is some history to unpack there, and I believe Collision is on there as well.
Yeah, it's so I think Collision ended up hitting like it's gonna be a B tier, and I think it just mostly so the inside scoop that I have that I'm pretty sure is not a problem if I say is like to put this thing together, especially without announcing it outright first and getting in talks with other organizers, it was a little harder to get the events up front in terms of the ones that are like the staples. So they had to do a lot of the ones that they're involved with because they're obviously going to get the okay on that. But
Sure.
like something like Collision, where I think technically a 2DG event, Like, so it's not like VGBC had anything to do with that. So it kind of comes in after the fact, just because as part of the just getting this tour together and going for
Right.
a first year, you can't really confirm something like that until it's like, well, here are the official details, whatever. So, there's a few things that you might think should be on there on our end, but I also think that this is one of those things that's going to improve with time. Like, this is literally the first year something this is happening. And with $250,000 on the line, you better believe they're going to try to make it right.
Yeah.
So,
It can't, I don't know if you knew this, Chris. That's $250,000.
yeah, it's not
That's
streamer
a lot of
money,
money.
but it is
No,
it is player money, and that's good for them because that makes the streams a lot more interesting to watch.
that's like
Like
minor league
always.
baseball player money. Like
Yeah,
that's a good hunk of change.
yeah, dude, you might get called up to the majors with that.
Yeah, no, it's gonna be cool, and I'm excited to see where it goes. Like, the key is patience, and I think VG has earned your patience in spades
Hmm.
after years of service and hard work. So, I hope, because I have seen some odd backlash from people about like
Yeah,
really
it's gonna
mundane things.
happen.
And so, like, obviously nobody's gonna be happy with everything, but I highly recommend that you all at least like give it a chance, have an open mind,
Let
and
me. I'll say one thing. VG is a pretty underappreciated corp. And I'm just saying that because I do a lot of events with them. It's just like if you see the things that happen there, like it's easy to hate like quote unquote big business, but like they're not even big business. Like they're just like the best at what they've been doing. It's really pretty interesting seeing all this come full circle, especially with something like Apex, or even and again we will do an episode on this. I'm very sold on that. Where even they had some issues with all that, and then now they officially are managing that whole series and own it. So there's just so much to unpack in this whole announcement. There really is.
yeah, and like you said, it's all gonna get cooler with time because there's gonna be more events opting in and such, and you know, knowing VG, it's all gonna come full circle when a DLC character gets announced before like a platinum tier
Yeah,
circuit
that'd be
event. So
amazing. That'll be very cool.
yeah, but yeah, that's kind of the big news coming out of that. Again, it is still pretty new, so there's a lot of detail. Don't know a whole lot of, but again, we'll be casually advertising everything
Yeah.
throughout the podcast and other means. So definitely stay in tune for that. And yeah, I actually didn't watch the announcement live because I was at PAX East this weekend.
Yeah, tell me
I was
about.
out to dinner with some.
So I know next to nothing about PAX East, so then it's a big video game convention. So I think this is a good place for you to basically just kind of explain it to me, like as someone who doesn't know anything.
Yeah, the Michael Scott explained it to me like
Yeah,
I'm nine. So
exactly.
yeah, so PAX East is basically it's an industry convention. It stands for the Penny Arcade Expo, where different developers of the AAA and the indie variety come to showcase their games. There's obviously your big, you know, mainstream companies like the Final Fantasy VII
Hmm.
remake had a demo this weekend, as well as Animal Crossing New Horizons was a big, you know, uh, meeting point this weekend. But there's a whole bunch of other, vendors and game developers there. Like Brawlhalla had a booth going on. Various audio and computer companies like Corsair, Astro, if MSI stuff like that. So and as well as it's not just video games. There's board games. There's card games. There's a whole lot of people involved. There's a whole Magic the Gathering tournament that happened this weekend. It was really cool.
Yeah, dude,
Um,
Magic's a big deal.
yeah, it's my first PAX. I've never been to a convention like this. It was pretty cool. I got to play a couple of games that I was excited about, and it was fun. Um, I played Grand Blue Versus, which is coming out, I believe, today or sometime this week. I think actually it comes out in North America. Um, Played a bit of that. I played the new Shovel Knight game that should be coming out later this year, which was a lot of fun. Riz played the Final Fantasy VII demo, and he said he really liked it.
I heard that demo's
I tried,
amazing, like all
yeah, and it's
around.
actually and it's out on the PS4 now for free if you guys want to play it. So
Yeah, dude, I've heard nothing but positive things, and Final Fantasy VII is like an OG RPG, so that'll be exciting
yeah,
for a whole new generation of people.
it's funny because
And
well, that demo was like super convoluted to get to because you had to get a ticket to like play the demo. So like we woke up at like 7. We got to the convention center like 8 in the morning. just to get a ticket so that Riz could play at like 3:50 in the afternoon or something
Wow.
like that.
No way.
Yeah, yeah, no, it was nuts, dude. But he said it was worth it. I tried to play Animal Crossing and to buy merchandise from Animal Crossing, and I was unsuccessful in both because that booth was a fucking nightmare all weekend.
You hate to see it, dude. I think I saw PB&J said he waited online just to not be able to take a picture with Isabel or something. Something along those
Yeah,
lines. I felt bad.
that booth was popping all weekend, rightfully so, because Animal
Yeah.
Crossing is a huge IP, and it was it's definitely gonna be a fun game. I didn't need to play the demo. I really just wanted to buy the merch, which I could not do. So I'm a little sad, but it's fine. I'll be all right.
I hope
Just
so.
I got to play a little bit of the SpongeBob Battle for Bikini Bottom remake
That's
this weekend, which
actually
is
like on the low, pretty hype. That was a good game too, like in its own
I
right.
the Battle of the Bikini, like
It's
when
a
it
good
comes to
game.
licensed game, the SpongeBob games always hit, man.
Some
Like
of the best music too.
I agree. I'm a fan. SpongeBob. The bubble bazooka thing that he has, like that. That was
Mm-hmm.
that was awesome. So, yeah, I got to play that a bit. I got some free swag, a lot of pins and stuff like that, and it was just a really fun time. I would definitely love to go the full 4 days next year. I can't say if I'll actually do that or not because after 2 days I was incredibly exhausted. Um, but yeah, it was really cool. I got some stuff at the Bethesda party that they held for the public, which was cool. Got a free hat, some couple of free drinks. Boston is a beautiful city. Weather wasn't too bad. Went to an improv show this weekend, which was interesting.
That's pretty fun.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of stand up comedy, so that was definitely a highlight. It was just a nice, relaxing weekend. And I know that has had a panel this weekend about competitive Smash, and he said it went really well. So I'm sure we can
Was he
touch
also at
base.
PAX East?
He was. I hung out with him for a bit on Saturday. So
Can't believe he overslept.
yeah, hey man, we're us old guys got to get our sleep.
Dude, I know you're telling me about needing sleep and having work, but I'm just so confused because I'm pretty sure I saw you guys take out on your private jet on the way out of Frostbite. So I
The
don't
best part about the private jet is that I don't have to drive it.
know. That's true. Yeah, you got people to do
Yeah,
that for you.
yeah, I definitely dropped my friend's Uber rating by falling asleep in the car though. So sorry about your perfect your 5.0, Chris. We'll talk about that later.
Uh,
But
yeah.
no, the event was fun. It's really cool. Like I don't get to go to many conventions, but so far I've gone to like a couple this year, and it's been very very. It's been a fun change of pace. Like it's nice to kind of like turn my brain off and like play some other video games. I
Yeah.
actually played the new Gunvolt Striker game that's coming out for the
Hey,
Switch. And
those are great games.
yeah, and the Gunvolt Chronicles Luminous Avenger. A lot of fun. I'm a big fan of those characters, and Gunvolt is low key one of the characters I want in Smash, and it'll never happen, but it's
Yeah,
fine.
it'll never happen, but like it is very good. The whole series is very good. And it's the same people that made Inti Creates. It's the same people that made the Mega Man Zero series, so that's why it's so good. Because
Yeah,
it
no,
it plays just like them. Just with a few extra,
bells and whistles.
yeah, like basically there's just different things you could do in the game. But anyways, they're really great. If you haven't played like Gunvolt, you should.
Yeah,
Basically.
yeah. I would love to go to more conventions this year, and I definitely plan to kind of scout out wherever I can go. I know that Anime Next is a big anime convention in New Jersey, and maybe I'll be there. I don't know. I haven't
Yeah,
figured it out yet.
maybe. I think I heard something about that.
I loved it as soon as we put up the video of Gunvolt. His combo kind of was at 69.
Yeah, well,
That was that
totally on
that's pretty.
purpose. So this
It's
this
pretty
is
gamer.
Luminous Avenger on the screen now. So it's like
Yes.
it's cool. It's the whole point of like if I could sidetrack. So Gunvolt, like Luminous Avenger, is this guy is like a bad guy in the first game, kind of. It's kind of like the Proto
Yes.
Man to Mega Man, but he's not actually
Correct.
bad. You know what I mean? He's on just like kind of like a different swag.
Yeah, it's an anti-hero.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the game I had the most fun with, just because like with I forget what the actual character's name is. I think is it Luminous? No,
Oh,
is it?
oh no. Like jeez, what's his name? It's, oof, this is gonna bother me. It's something like
I
kind
bought a
of strange sounding.
yeah, I bought a shirt with his face on it this weekend, so you think I noticed, but I don't. But
This is really gonna
yeah,
bother me.
Yeah, that's the game I actually had the most fun with because that's a lot like more like you kind of have to
Copen.
that.
There it is. Sorry.
What's up? What was it again?
His name is Copen.
Copen. That's what it was. Yeah, Copen's a lot of fun to play as because you get like it's a lot of like air dashes and stuff like that into your opponent, and it was just super fun. And am probably gonna pick up that game on the Switch next time I get the chance.
Yeah,
So
I bought it limited run. Limited run made a version, and it came with all the DLC. So I splurged on that a couple months ago.
hell yeah, treat yourself.
Yeah, dude, you got it. Anytime I see those games, I'm a big physical copy game person, just because I have like a really old collection of other ones, so I'm just like keeping it going. But like anytime I see it comes with like all the DLC, I'm like, yeah, I'll just get it then, because it's the same price as it is like new.
Yeah, no, PAX
Yeah.
was a lot of fun. Now if you want to do one last second chill, I actually have to use the bathroom really quick.
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
Um, yeah. So let's see. I didn't actually get to go to PAX, but it's one of those conventions where it's not just Smash or anything related to Smash. So hopefully I get out to one of those things soon. But just hearing about good like demos and stuff, dude. Like that Final Fantasy VII demo. Let me see if I find some footage on that. That's like a big deal now. I've heard the gameplay basically is it's basically like the best Final Fantasy gameplay since like 13 in terms of fluidness. So it's like really easy to jump in. It's still like an RPG, but it also plays more like action-ish. But let me see, remake. Yeah, here we go. Let's see what we have. But it just looks really clean too. Yeah. So this is I know this is a PS4 release. I don't know if it's coming on anything else, but either way, just looking at it now, I don't have a PS4, so I couldn't even try the demo yet. But all I can tell you is that, as someone who's watched the footage a few times, it still has all the RPG things that you'd want. Um, it has all the, like, there's still some kind of turn-based stuff, but it feels more like you're interactive with it, as you can see here.
Are you still there?
I'm still here. I was just talking about the Final Fantasy VII demo remake, or remake demo. But you came just in time because I was just like, well, I'm running out of things to say about this, but it looks really
Yes.
nice.
Yeah, no, it looks awesome. I actually have the original Final Fantasy VII on my Switch, and I'm probably gonna play that tonight. So
Yeah, I've heard this game almost like makes it so you don't need like I don't know like almost why you'd want to play the original Final Fantasy VII, but it is very different than this. So I still think it's worth it because that game had quite the impact at
yeah, I
when it
just
was
want to have
new.
an idea of what I'm doing. I mean, so
But anyways, I think we're kind of towards end. Anyways, I feel like we
yeah, no,
covered a
that's
lot.
a
Oh, you know what? Before we end, this is something I wanted to bring up because this is something that happened. I don't have like a thing on the overlay for it, but I think it's worth mentioning, and I brought up to you before we even started. But that big old Wi-Fi tournament that had 20K attached to it this past weekend,
yeah.
the Soaked Series Invitational. I'm just so intrigued by this. Basically. So, Soaked Series, the guy who runs it, this guy, what's it, Moist Critical, I think is his
Yes,
Twitter
that's
at.
his name.
That's it.
Correct.
So he has like a pretty well off YouTube. I think it's like Penguini or Penguin O or something of that nature. But he basically just streamed a Wi-Fi tournament, like straight up, and it was free to enter and had $20,000 attached to it. And it's subject to a lot of hate because it's a Wi-Fi tournament. People hate Smash Wi-Fi, dude. But a lot of top
Yeah.
players who play it ended up coming out with like a few $1,000, and I'll find that tweet too because it told you exactly what everyone made, which I was just kind of like, wow, holy crap. But you turned it on, and like I actually did not know Moist Critical really until this stream, which maybe that's shame on me. But the thing
Yeah.
is like he has nothing to do with Smash. He just kind of threw this thing, and he did it kind of smart, because he ended up having like Alpharad commentate with him throughout. Like I think Alpharad was commentating this thing for like 8 hours. And it was literally just this dude and his boys just sitting in his room, just like watching Wi-Fi, and like it would almost kind of just look like crap to you if it was anyone else, but like this guy actually has the backing to like or he basically has the resume to back him up if he does something like this. But it looks like anything else. Like look at this top 8 of a Wi-Fi tournament. Cola, who was formerly Assault One, Wrath,
Who
who
also won a tournament the night before, mind you.
yeah,
So
dude, he's on it, man. He's a young guy too, as far as I know.
yeah, I also just found out he's like 17 or 18 or something like that. He's a baby still, so
Yeah,
that's
dude,
crazy.
and then Wrath getting second, Wi-Fi Sonic have whatever opinions you may want on that, and we didn't really talk about Wrath earlier, but he's coming off a big performance at Frostbite that no one was
Yep.
really expecting. But then like
Yeah, no, fifth place there. So Wrath has always been a really good player. It doesn't matter of him kind of getting his footing. I know he was playing around with some other characters, like most Sonic mains were, when the game first came out, but now he's kind of gravitated towards the back to like, all right, I'm just gonna play the Stonewall defense game, and you can't really do anything about it, and you're gonna get mad, and I'm gonna win, which I'm in favor for. I think the world needs more top level Sonic representation, but I think I'm alone in that statement. So.
You might be, but I mean, you're not alone on this graphic because another Sonic is in 7th place, and then Ness. It kind of reminds you of like what Wi-Fi is like when you see this graphic. Actually, like you see Ness, you see Sonic,
Yeah. Palutena.
Omar, Palutena. But I don't know. I was really interested by this because this is real money, dude. Like Cola, I think that number says, let's say 10,000 or 12,000. Like that's crazy. That's a lot of money. Wrath getting 2nd place, still winning 4,000. Like that is significant. All you had to do
money.
was battle through a really big Wi-Fi bracket, and that's it. Like easy every time.
Yeah, as long as you have a good internet connection and snacks, which most people only have one of the two, and it's a ladder. You should be pretty successful in these endeavors. But yeah, it was definitely an interesting social experiment, and it definitely paid off. And I hope that Moist Critical decides to host more of these because it was really, really interesting.
I
It
think
was fun seeing
he
the
said
top
he's going
players.
to. Like I
Oh,
think
hell
this
yeah,
is like a
that's
thing
awesome.
now. Yeah.
I just love watching top players go through the tribulations of like slowly losing their minds and their mental health deteriorating because of Wi-Fi. Like it was quite the sight to see. Just everybody just losing their collective mind.
This has got to be so salt-inducing though, like coming in 9th or whatever, because I don't think you win anything for 9th through 13th. Like, or maybe you do. I'm not sure. It doesn't look like it actually, because it looks like these might total up to 20,000 straight up. I'm not doing the math. I don't care that much, but it is interesting. The stream, it's kind of a hot mess, but doesn't really matter when you have 20,000 on the line and you already are an internet personality bringing in new fans. The reality is, dude, is like I'd never heard of this guy really before. I know he was a very prominent YouTuber, obviously, millions of followers. But I think this is good. Like this is good for the Smash scene because it gets you a whole new line of attention around the most accessible part of the game, which is Wi-Fi. So say as much as you hate about it, but like you're tapping into the biggest possible audience when you're doing like a Wi-Fi event, especially a free to enter one. So I don't know,
No,
pretty neat.
I agree. I agree 100%, and it's gonna be fun to see more of these, take place and as you continue to iron out the kinks. Again, I mean, you couldn't pay me not that much to play Wi-Fi Sonic for that consecutive amount of sets. And shout out to Georgia in general, man. They're a scary scene that I feel like a lot of people forget about. So
yeah, it was not one of those states that is like I don't want to say like super sexy and it's like appeal, but there's a lot of good players there outside of like the geographical placement or whatever is in that state.
yeah, no, there's got Wrath, Salt One, Fatality, Sonito.
That's crazy. What's going on over there?
Yeah, no, there's something in the water. I think it's sweet tea or something, but peach juice.
Peach juice. Yeah, that's true. They do. They like a good peach juice and tea down there. But anyways,
love a good Georgia peach for sure.
Absolutely. So. Anyways, so that's probably gonna do it. I just want to talk about that for a second.
Yeah, no, definitely right. It has its place. It has happened in the last week since we've done this. So, yeah, and as we said, we will continue to delve in more into the inner workings of the Smash World circuit. Probably do a couple of podcasts highlighting a couple of the bigger events like we said, we're probably going to do one of those with Apex.
Yeah.
Just a scheduling note. Mr. Chris Elodie will be traveling abroad next week, so there will be no podcast next week. So if you guys haven't caught up, I know we've been a little bit, I'd say a little
We've been a little
sparse with scheduling
sporadic,
sometimes.
and that's okay.
Yeah,
I
sporadic.
think I'll be honest with you, Master Hand channels as a whole are seeing a lot of things are happening behind the scenes, and a lot of things probably changing pretty soon. So this podcast being one of them, but it's all for the better. I still really enjoy these, and actually tonight really reminded me how much I can enjoy these. I had a lot of fun with this one. So with all the news and all the new things coming out, with stuff to talk about, and the fact that you and I, Koopa, like we're actually involved with these things, it'll make for a lot more interesting casts moving forward, and hopefully a lot more interaction from all of you at home, because we don't get a ton of it, but I do know that you guys are watching, and that is enough to make me happy. So thanks for doing that and for supporting it, and if you've made it this far, please go ahead and drop the follows. Like, if this is entertaining you, it only makes sense for you to follow. So you can find us on Twitter at MasterHandGames. Check out our YouTube, youtube.com/MasterHandGaming. We do have a SoundCloud. You can find us on Spotify. Just pretty much search Master Hand Gaming everywhere, and you'll find us at this point. But what do you got for us before we end?
Yeah. So you can follow me on Twitter, KoopaNJ. My March is kind of slowed down a bit. I'm not traveling as frequently, so I'll be a little bit more home this weekend. I'm not exactly sure what my tournament schedule is, but just follow me on Twitter for memes. Help me get to 3K so I can feel better about myself.
I'd help you, but I'm already following.
Oh, I don't know.
I'll make some
40-something
dummy
more.
accounts. Yeah, that's cool. I could do that. That's
Hell
the least
yeah.
I can do.
The Crystalodian burner account.
Crystalodian 1, 2, 3, 4.
No, that would be Chris Jr. then.
Oh, yeah, that's hype. That's cool. I like it. I'm certain that name is not available on Twitter, but I like it nonetheless.
And then there's your alt account where all you do is talk about sports, and it's Crystalodian gas.
Wow, that's amazing. There's so many angles I could take.
Oh man!
I can't wait.
We just opened Pandora's box. I don't like this. End the stream before I lose my mind.
All right, guys, we gotta go. We'll see you next time. Thanks for supporting, and we'll talk to you soon.
See you next time.